What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Now, I've got a very entertaining article for you guys today coming from the Associated Press. Now, the longtime viewers of this channel know that I have it out for the Associated Press. As a matter of fact, they are one of the most partisan hack of a journalism news websites that I've ever seen, that I've ever come across. The bad part is they are the gold standard in America. That's a shame, if you ask me. These people are partisan hacks. They're nothing but partisan hacks. They're not as bad as some of these far left news outlets. Like, some of them are just crazy. But the Associated Press puts out ethics guidelines, for crying out loud. And the Associated Press also puts out these blanket articles that a lot of the local news websites will pick up, and they'll just reprint these. I guess to make money off of them. I'm not sure, but they do this because you can go to the Associated Press, read an article, then you can go to your local news website, and it'll be the exact same article. They might not put that. They might take out some paragraphs to shorten it up. But for the most part, it'll be the exact same article. Like, you will read everything of it, word for freaking word. And they do this on a vast scale. But so this is why I hone in on the AP, because once again, like I said, they're partisan hacks. They manipulate the crap out of you, worse than the mainstream narrative machine. They're just as bad, if not worse, than MSNBC. They're much worse than CNN, much worse than ABC, NBC. Well, NBC is pretty bad. I would put NBC and MSNBC pretty much equivalent with the AP. They're pretty bad. But it's like CNN, like, some of their news articles will be, okay, they're not too bad. But other ones will be like, holy crap, it's almost as bad as the AP. But at least, they'll give you the news. At least that they do that. The AP, they'll just frame it in such a way to where you're like, holy crap, this is strange. And if you know the truth already, you're like, that's not true. It's a bunch of garbage. But they are the absolute best at framing this to push a narrative, framing the articles to push a narrative. I'll put it that way. But before we get into this thing, I got to do it, y'all. Y'all don't forget, smash that like button for me. Subscribe to this channel if you want to stay up to date and informed with exactly how you're being manipulated by the corporate press. That is right. Subscribe here, because that's what we do. We analyze articles and we let you know how you're being manipulated. And as a bonus, you get news, folks. Better get something out of it, right? Instead of just how you're being manipulated. Y'all share the video anywhere and everywhere you can. I would greatly appreciate that. That's the only way I'm going to grow, y'all. The only way I'm going to grow. I need y'all's help on that. Bigly. Yeah, bigly. Check this out, y'all. In promising to shake up Washington, Trump is in a class of his own. Now, I saw this headline, and I was like, that's interesting, coming from the Associated Press. That sounds like they're trying to butter Trump up a little bit. I had another thing coming. In the history of American politics, there's no shortage of presidents who promised to shake up Washington once they got to the White House. But Donald Trump may prove to be in a class of his own and appears more interested in beating the federal government into submission than recalibrating it. Yeah, yes, exactly. That's what I'm saying, but hang on, they devolve into some insanity here in a minute, y'all. In staffing his administration, Trump has shown an inclination to select people who distrust or even disdain the agencies they've been chosen to lead, setting up a potential war of attrition between the incoming Republican president and American institutions. Oh, here we go. Now we're getting the reminiscence of threats to democracy here. There's been nothing like what Trump is suggesting to do, said Doug Brinkley, a presidential historian. We're talking about dismantling the federal government. That is a bold statement, my guy. Really? You think Trump is going to dismantle the federal government? Huh. That's an interesting take. Where's your evidence of this? Because, how is he going to do this? He didn't say dismantle part of the federal government. He didn't say dismantle half of the American government. He said dismantle the federal government. in its entirety, I would have to assume. That's an insane statement, if you ask me. But, hey, it gets much more thick. Trump's approach will become even clearer this week as Kash Patel, his choice for FBI director, heads to Capitol Hill for an initial round of meetings with senators who will decide whether to confirm him to the post. A former national security officer who has branded himself as an eager acolyte of Trump, he hasn't, but Patel has talked about shutting down the agency's headquarters, splitting up its responsibilities, and targeting Trump's perceived enemies. That is right. But what did they leave out of that? That he's going after criminals because he's going to be head of the FBI. You can't go after people if they haven't committed a crime. Donald Trump is not Joe Biden. And Pam Bondi is not Merrick Garland. They're not just going to make up charges or seek a special counsel to go after somebody, for crying out loud. It's insane. But see, they're drumming up all this fear like, oh, this is what Trump is going to do, when Joe Biden has been doing this for the past 4 freaking years, and they never report on it as such. Greg Brower, a former U.S. attorney who has served as the FBI's top congressional affairs official, said Trump seems to want to make the nation's law enforcement institutions part of his political operation run out of the White House. Well, I mean, hang on, isn't that what the president is supposed to do? He's in charge of the federal government. Yeah, you might want to choose your words a little bit more carefully next time, my dude. That's a major course change that I'm just not sure a majority of senators are willing to endorse, Brower said. Republican senators are already considering whether to support Pete Hegseth, whom Trump wants to lead the Pentagon, despite allegations of sexual misconduct, excessive drinking, and financial mismanagement. See, here we go, with the misconduct allegations again. Like, hang on, it's allegations, it's old news, they investigated it, they found no wrongdoing, so drop it. That has nothing to do with his ability to do the damn job. But they want to bring up allegations. Oh, because it's allegations. Well, what is allegations, as a matter of fact? You can make allegations on anybody. As a matter of fact, I state right here, right now, that the Associated Press has allegedly has conducted misconduct against the American people, as in the form of manipulative news reporting. So there we go. Now there's some misconduct allegations against the Associated Press. Oh, you shouldn't. It's just insane what they do. It's like the pot calling the freaking kettle black, and in a racist kind of way. It's funny as hell. Excessive drinking, financial, yeah. Hegseth is an Army veteran and former Fox News commentator who has described the military as flooded with woke liberal ideology. It is. That's definitely an apt description, if you ask me. It is. They do have a lot of that, I'll put it that way. He also wants to remove women from combat roles. Oh, hang on. No, he doesn't, as a matter of fact. He just says it's not a good idea. Once again, they just lie, though. It's okay. We just tell people whatever the hell we want to. Who needs news, right? Caroline Leavitt, a spokesperson for Trump's transition team and the incoming White House press secretary, said the next administration wants to shatter the deep state, a term for entrenched civil servants who have frustrated Trump and his allies. Once again, lies. They got part of it right. Right, is entrenched civil servants, these lifetime bureaucrats, these career bureaucrats that are in middle management, upper management positions that just don't care about the American people. They only care about themselves and their own interests, and they actively work against you and I. That's the deep state. Yes, they did frustrate Trump and his allies, but that is not just what they do. They work against the American people, as a matter of fact. President Trump was reelected by a resounding mandate from the American people to change the status quo in Washington, she said in a statement. That's why he has chosen brilliant and highly respected outsiders to serve in his administration, and he will continue to stand behind them as they fight against all those who seek to derail the MAGA agenda. Margaret Spelling, who has served as Education Secretary under President George W. Bush, said it's probably not a good management style to treat government employees as adversaries. Yes, you're right. It's probably not. But when they are adversaries, when they're actively trying to undermine your presidency, what do you do at that point? Right? They've got these civil servant protections in place, so you can't just say you're fired. You got to come up with something, right? So what do you do about this? They can't fire these people. They get these cushy jobs and they don't do their work, and that they actively undermine the ongoing administration. What are you supposed to do about that? These people are just, they don't ever explain everything to the American people. It's insane. If you're going to turn the tide or redirect the ship of state, you got to have help doing it, she said. And that's people who already work there. Really? Like, are you serious? No, you fire these people. Just get them out of there. And you hire new people. People who are motivated, who are patriots to this country, who want to do the right thing. Instead of these lazy scumbags that everybody keeps hiring for some reason. Spelling's former department could be outright eliminated if Trump has his way. His choice of Education Secretary, Linda McMahon, has never worked in the field. She served for 1 year on the Connecticut Board of Education and is a member of the Board of Trustees at a private university. So, like, what? Did they think that people weren't going to read that and understand what they were reading? Right? They said outright, she has never worked in the field. And then the very next sentence is she has 1 year on the board in Connecticut. Like, what are you talking about? They're just insane, y'all, to think nobody would catch that. And then she's on the Board of Trustees at a private university. Now, that's not the same thing exactly. But to say that she's never worked in the field, like, who are you trying to pull the wool over their eyes? Like, anybody with any amount of common sense, with an IQ of at least 50, could read that and be like, well, they just contradicted themselves. But, you know, hey, the AP is the gold standard for news reporting in this country, y'all. Insane. McMahon led the Small Business Administration during Trump's first term, and she made a name for herself by running World Wrestling Entertainment, a cultural juggernaut that features muscle-bound men beating each other up in elaborately scripted fights. So she can run a business, is that what you're saying? Once again, oh, she has no experience in the field. Well, you know what? The leaders of these places, they're running basically companies. That's the same thing. They don't have to be an educator. They don't have to have teaching experience to run the Department of Education, for crying out loud. They're managing people in the company, the department itself. They don't have to have knowledge of that field to run that department. That's what they have experts that work for them. That's what they have advisors for. I'm sick and tired of the corporate press coming to me, trying to tell me that Donald Trump's cabinet picks are ridiculously stupid because they don't have experience in the field of what they're going to be running. That's the dumbest thing to try to sell me on. When these people, all they need is experience in running departments. They just need leadership skills. But this ain't the last time they're going to do this. I can promise you that. Trump's plans for the federal government blend conservative ideology, which has long viewed Washington as too intrusive in Americans' daily lives, with his personal vendettas. Lies. That was just a blatant lie. After being plagued by investigations and contradicted by career officials during his first term, the returning president has no interest in a replay, and he's more skeptical of insider views that clash with his own instincts. Wouldn't you be if you were the president and you were getting subverted all over the damn place by pretty much every single department? Like, what do you expect from this dude? You think he's just going to go in and trust everybody? People that the Biden administration has had working for them for 4 years at least? I don't think so. I think if it was up to Donald Trump, he would fire the vast majority of anybody in any management position all the way across the board and hire new people. As a matter of fact, don't be surprised if he doesn't try to do that. And that would be a good thing, by the way, Associated Press. Some of his personal choices have alarmed political opponents. Yeah, of course, they're political opponents. They're going to be alarmed, but it's fake outrage. They're feigning the fear and ferocity of the next Trump administration. But Trump's approach could prove appealing to voters whose faith in government has sunk to record lows in recent years. At least they said one true statement in this thing. Only about 2 in 10 Americans trust the government to do the right thing always or most of the time, according to the Pew Research Center, down from around 4 in 10 who said this in 2000 before the upheaval of a global financial crisis, an inconclusive war on terrorism, and a worldwide pandemic. Kay Schultzman, a Boston College political science professor, said Trump's nominees could be viewed as an extension of his capacity to question the received wisdom and question the supposed elites who always run everything. Yes, exactly what I was thinking. And that's a good thing. Some of the largest gaps between expertise and personnel have been evident in public health. Trump chose Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to lead the Department of Health and Human Services, despite his reputation as one of the most prolific spreaders of unfounded theories about the supposed dangers of vaccines.
Nearly every scientific and medical organization, including the CDC, the FDA, the AMA, the American Academy of Pediatrics, all say you're wrong on this issue.
Most people don't know what my stance is on vaccines. I've never been anti-vaccine. And I've said that hundreds and hundreds of times, but it doesn't matter. Because that is a way of silencing me, using that pejorative to describe me as a way of silencing or marginalizing me. My position on vaccines, I think, virtually every American would agree with my stance on vaccines, which is that vaccines should be tested like other medicines. They should be safety tested. And unfortunately, the vaccines are not safety tested. They're not. Of the 72 vaccine doses now mandated, essentially mandated, they're recommended, but they're really mandated for American children. None of them, not one, has ever been subject to a pre-licensing placebo-controlled trial.
Yes, they have.
No.
Yes, they have.
Okay, let me just say something. Dr. Fauci and many other people for many years said this, that Bobby Kennedy, when he says that, is wrong. So I met with Dr. Fauci in 2016, and I agreed to go on Trump's Vaccine Safety Commission, and I was with Aaron Siri and Lynn Redwood and a number of other people, and we said to him, can you show us one test from any vaccine, pre-licensing safety test? And he said, I'll send it to you. I can't find one now. He never did, so we sued him. We sued, Aaron Siri and I sued HHS, and after a year of litigation and stonewalling, they said that they could not provide a single safety study for any vaccine that is on the childhood schedule, pre-licensing safety study. So anybody who wants to read that can go to the Children's Health Defense website, and you can read HHS's admission that not a single one has ever been safety tested pre-licensing. Now, what I've said is other medicines are required to do that. And we should have to do that for vaccines. If I'm wrong, show me the test, show me the study. You won't be able to, because there are none.
Yeah, so honestly, if you can't prove it to me, I'm not going to believe you if it's coming from the government. Like he said, I held on to that clip. I aired that clip in a video I made a while back. And when I saw that paragraph, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to run that clip again, because they continually lie about Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s position on some of these things, right? Now, I'm not a doctor. Don't take my word for it. Don't take his word for it. Ask your doctor as a matter of fact, because you don't want to take random medical advice from somebody online. But we're not really talking about the medical advice here. I just want to get that clear and out the way to make sure everybody knows that that's not what we're discussing. We're not trying to give out any advice on medicine whatsoever. We're just talking about the corporate press and how they portray Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s position on these things, right? Because his position is not what they say it is. It's not what he says it is, what they say it is at all. You heard it from the horse's mouth, as a matter of fact. He's just concerned with some of these things, and everybody has a right to be concerned about these. If you can't show me the proof that the safety tests and all this, right? Like, I'm not even trying to say they didn't run the safety tests. I'm sure they did. But we just want to see the results. That's all. We don't care about anything else. Show us the results. If you can't show us the results, then I'm going to be forever skeptical of these things until you do. That is a natural response in that situation. That is a natural response. If you can't prove to me it's safe, right? Like they do this with everything else. You go buy a car. You can go and look up the safety tests. You can watch the videos. You can read the transcripts from what these people wrote as they were doing the tests. You can get all of that stuff, right? We want the same thing. We want the same exact transparency when it comes to everything else. Right? It should be equal all the way across the board. We want to see it safe. If you can't prove that, and I'm sorry, I'm going to be skeptical. I'm going to tell people. They won't show me the safety tests for this. Now, I will say right off the top, I took those vaccines as a kid. Look at me. Wait, that might not be a good example, as a matter of fact, because I'm kind of an idiot. Y'all know that. Right? But, joking aside, yeah, I took the vaccines. Millions of kids took those vaccines. People are fine. But, however, that doesn't negate the fact that we still want to see the tests. We still want to see the side effects, blah, 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 blah. You get it. But these people are just coming out and saying, oh, he's a vaccine skeptic, blah, blah, blah. No, he's not really skeptical. If you can't prove it, then we're not going to just take your word for it, for crying out loud. But that's what these people expect you to do. Oh, and he's anti-vaccine because of it. No, I'm sorry. You can get out of here with all your ridiculous allegations. Don't care. Still want you to prove it, as a matter of fact. But I think I've rambled on for long enough on this one, y'all. I want y'all to let me know what y'all think about all this down in the comments section. Y'all don't forget, do me that favor and smash that like button for me. I really do appreciate it. And subscribe if you're new around here. Share this video anywhere and everywhere you can. That's the only way I can grow, and I need y'all's help. So if y'all could do that for me, I would greatly appreciate it, y'all. But that's all I got for this one. I want to thank everybody for watching, and y'all try to have a good day. Stay legitical. Peace.